In this lesson, I'll take you through everything you need to know for a rock school exam. So we'll take a look at the scales you have to know. We'll take a look at the pieces that you're going to need to pick and learn and play. We'll take a look at technical exercises and oral exercises. And I'll have a look at sight reading and interpretation and improvisation as well, which is something you'll need to do at the rock school exam level. So let's get stuck in. If you want to take a rock school exam, you have two options. You can take a practical piano exam or a performance grade. Now, the practical piano exam consists of 3 performances, which you pick from the most recent syllabus. You can pick freestyle pieces as well, free choice pieces as well. I'll talk about them in a bit. You will also have to do a certain amount of scales and arpeggios, some sight reading and some aural tests. If you're picking a performance grade, then all you have to do is play 5 pieces of music. So you will need to pick at least 3 of these from the rock school syllabus, but 2 of them can be free choice pieces from elsewhere. Now, both of these exams can be taken at an exam centre in front of an examiner, or you can upload a digital video that is then graded by an examiner. The difference with the digital video is you won't do the aural tests or the sight reading. So it will just be technical, your technical exercises like your scales and arpeggios and your performance pieces. But they're great for people who maybe suffer from nerves and can't perform in front of people, or maybe people who just can't get to an exam centre. So the best part about taking an exam, or even if you're not going to take an exam, is picking your pieces. It's so much fun. So you'll need to get the most recent syllabus. You can either purchase the book online or you can download it from the Rock School website. You need to pick 3 pieces to learn for a practical exam, and 2 of those pieces can be free choice pieces. And by that, what they mean is you can pick them from somewhere else. You can do your own composition, if you're quite creative, as long as it's relative to the graded level. Or you can pick songs in the public domain, again, that are at the same level as the grade you are taking. Or you can pick pieces from other exam boards. So if you'd already taken an exam at this level for a different board of music, like a jazz exam, for instance, then you could pick a piece of music from there as well. But you will need to pick at least 1 from the book. If you are doing a performance grade, then you need to pick 5 pieces. And then of course it's just practice, practice, practice. Take these pieces really slowly, bar by bar. Make sure you've covered everything. And listen to these pieces being played online. There's so many renditions online, so you can listen to other people playing it and see how it should sound. But be careful, because some people might be playing it wrong. So as long as you're going through the piece bar by bar, like I've shown you to do, you should be able to learn these pieces no problem. Okay, next is the technical exercises, so the scales and arpeggios. Now, you have done all of these in this course, and most of these you've been playing for a while now, so you shouldn't have any problems. Now, in the exam, you won't have to play all of these scales. The examiner will ask you just to play a few, but of course you don't know which ones she's going to ask you to play, so you do need to learn them all, and you will have to play them to a metronome as well, so practice them to a metronome. C major with the right and the left hands separately. A natural minor with hands separately. C major pentatonic in the right hand. minor pentatonic in the right hand. C major broken chord in the right and left hand. A minor broken chord in the right and left hands. Chord voicings in C major. Chord voicings in C minor. So next up is sight reading. So at this level for Rockschool, you can choose between sight reading and improvisation and interpretation. So if you were to pick sight reading, it would be in the key of C major. The tempo would be about 60 beats per minute and the time signature would be in 4/4. And you'd be using all the notes you know, the whole note, the half note and the quarter note and their associated rests. And it won't be a long piece of music, it will be between 4 to 6 bars. But you won't have seen this piece of music before, you have to play it on the spot. But you do get 90 seconds to practice and there'll probably be a backing track. So usually you'd take your 90 seconds, you'd practice the piece and then the examiner will play the backing track twice. The first is for practice, the second is your exam performance. Now at this level, you've been doing sight reading pieces in this course far harder than you'd have to do in this exam, so you would have no problem. Here is an example of a sight reading piece. These are two separate pieces, example 1 and example 2. They're very, very basic at the debut stage here for Rockschool, so you would have no problem with these. But I would suggest practicing. You can get so many books online that test your sight reading and have lots of different sight reading exercises in them. If you don't want to do sight reading, you can do improvisation and interpretation. Now we have done this when we have created our own songs with chord progressions and melodies, and that's all you're doing here. This will be in the C major, so nice and easy. You know all the notes of the C major scale, it's all the white notes, and you know about the chords. You know all the chords of the C major scale, and you've used them chords in the 1-5-6-4 technique and when we've been composing songs. So all you have to do is improvise a melody over a 4 to 6 bar chord progression. So they might give you 4 bars and they might give you a C. If it was the 1-5-6-4, it would be C, G, A and F. But they can give you any 4 chords and you have to create a melody over the top. And remember the tips I gave you on this. It will always sound good if you start your melody with the root note of the chord that they've given you. So if it's a G, then hit the G. If it's an F, then hit the F, or any of the notes from the chord. So if it's an F and you're creating a melody, well, the F chord is F, A and C. So any of the notes from F, A and C will work, and any other notes in between are just passing notes. Just don't stay on them too long. But you have 90 seconds to practice this, and then again the examiner will play a backing track. She'll play it through twice, So the first time you can practice and the second time will be your actual exam. So you can make up any melody you like, anything you like, and the examiner will be looking, you know, for a good melody and a melody that works well with the chords you've been given. But again, there's plenty of things online that you can download to practice this. And I will as well get round to putting up a bunch of exercises as well so we can practice. So next we have our ear tests, and this is only if you are going to an exam centre to do your aural tests. So we have melodic recall and chord recognition. Now I went through both of these in the last lesson, lesson 19, and I put up some exercises, so do make sure you do those exercises. They're really great for you just as a musician to start using your ear and knowing what you're listening to, being able to decipher pitch and chords and major and minor. It's all really important stuff, and you will have to do it in an exam. So go back to lesson 19 and make sure you've covered all of that. And lastly, with the Rockschool exam, you'll be asked questions on one of the pieces you've played. Now, if you've purchased the book, which you will need to do to learn the pieces anyway, it gives you information on each piece you are playing. So all the information you need is there. You just need to read it through, and you need to understand the notes you're using. You need to understand the tempo and the key signature and the time signature. As long as you know all of that stuff, you can answer any of these questions. And the questions could be anything from harmony, which is of course identifying major or minor triads. Could be melody, which is a pitch in the treble clef stave. So that will be any of the notes on the treble clef stave which you've learned. Could be rhythm and asking you about whole, half or quarter notes. Or it could be a technical question. This could be about fingering or a phrase in the music. They might ask you if you've noticed a particular phrase in the music, and if you're looking at your music and you can see it naturally comes to a stop in certain points, that's your phrase. And it could ask you about genre as well, and this will all be information that's given to you with the piece that you're learning. So it's just a case of really understanding the piece, taking a look through it, making sure you're playing it correctly and reading all the information. So now you know everything you need to know to study for a Rockschool Debut exam. You've got your scales to rehearse and practice, you've got your pieces to learn and play, and you've got your aural exercises and of course the sight reading and improvisation as well. But if you don't want to take a live exam with an examiner, there's a great thing we can do nowadays, and that's film our own exam at home. And if you do that, you don't even have to do all the technical exercises. You can just play your pieces. You just play the music you love to play, record it in one continuous edit, and then you can send that in and they will grade you on it. So there really is something for everyone. Well, that is it. That is the end of my beginner to grade course. Thank you so much for coming on this ride with me. I truly, truly hope that you've enjoyed it and that I've given you something special to take with you. And more importantly than that, I really hope that you carry on playing the piano. Keep going. Even if you're struggling with a lot of the pieces, just keep going. It's just practice. Every single time you sit down at the piano and play for a few minutes, you're better than you were the day before. So enjoy it, and please do let me know how you're getting on as well in the Facebook group. I would love to hear from all of you. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you in my Chord Jammer course.